Today we're focusing on a book that's managed to puzzle, comfort, and even frustrate readers for 15 centuries, The Consolation of Philosophy by Boethius. Specifically, I'll be walking you through a brand new translation and commentary by S.C. Sayles. What's the main question or problem tackled by Boethius? And, why does it still matter today? At its heart, The Consolation of Philosophy is Boethius, a Roman statesman and philosopher, trying to understand why terrible things happen to good people, why the wicked sometimes prosper, and in the thick of suffering and loss, whether life still has meaning or justice. He's writing from prison, unjustly accused, stripped of power and honor, facing execution. Honestly, not the sort of situation any of us would envy. The new edition by S.C. Sayles comes at this text with a clear purpose. How can we understand Boethius's search for meaning as he turns not to religious doctrines or comforting illusions, but to pure philosophical reasoning? Sayles makes a point of balancing the historical, philosophical, and even, let's be honest, theological dimensions of the work, showing how Boethius is caught between worlds. He's not just a proto-Christian thinker, nor simply a nostalgic Roman rationalist. He's a man asking where reason reaches its limit. Now, what's especially interesting about Sayles' approach, and what might matter for you as a listener, is that this edition insists on letting philosophy speak clearly, but also on naming its boundaries. It's a kind of philosophical therapy. Boethius begins his work in deep grief and confusion, mourning his shattered life. But then Lady Philosophy, an allegorical figure, steps in, not to offer cheap comfort, but to diagnose the illness, insisting that real consolation has to begin with facing the truth, not just soothing, but engaging with the big, raw, uncomfortable questions. I mean, how often do we do that ourselves when life goes sideways? So, to give you the lay of the land, Sayles organizes his commentary around the movement of the text. First, the diagnosis of exile. Boethius is overwhelmed by loss, but, as Lady Philosophy gently insists, the deeper wound is his forgetfulness of who he really is and what people are actually for. This edition is keen to point out that it's not just about losing his job or reputation, it's about losing his sense of meaning. Next, Book 2 exposes the instability of fortune, wealth, power, status, pleasure. All of these are shown as fundamentally unreliable foundations for happiness. Sound familiar? If you've ever felt whipsawed by bad luck or realized that outward success can vanish in an instant, you are basically stepping into Boethius's shoes. Sayles emphasizes here that the argument runs deeper than just be stoic. It's about challenging what we think counts as real happiness and what's only borrowed light. By Book 3, Boethius and Lady Philosophy are searching for the highest good, something self-sufficient, unlosable, truly worthy of being called happiness. For Boethius, the answer is linked to God, not as a figure of faith exactly, but as the ultimate source and end of all things. Sayles is quite careful not to overstate this. Philosophy can point to the good, but it can't deliver salvation. Book 4 and V, well, they just keep raising the stakes. Why do the wicked prosper? If the world is governed by providence, how are we to understand this injustice? Boethius says, look, appearances deceive, the wicked are slaves to their desires and lack real power. Then, in the last act, there's this honestly mind-bending argument about divine foreknowledge and free will. Boethius distinguishes between eternity and time, suggesting that God's knowledge doesn't threaten human freedom. I mean, wow, people are still arguing about that one. Something I found pretty striking is Sayles' refusal to tidy things up with easy answers. He notes that philosophy, amazing as it is, reaches its ceiling. Sayles gives Boethius space to speak, but he also points out what's missing. Philosophy can diagnose, describe, protest, but it can't promise redemption or final judgment. That, for Sayles, belongs elsewhere. Oh, and did you know the format of the Consolation The mix of prose and poetry isn't just artistic flair, it's meant to mirror Boethius's own struggle to recover balance between rational insight and emotional turmoil. What does this actually mean for you? Well, if you've ever wondered how to cope when life falls to pieces, or wrestled with questions of justice, suffering, or free will, the Consolation and this particular edition model doing honest work with those questions, not offering easy answers, but rather showing what it looks like to let reason do its best, then acknowledge its limits and move forward. But if you're curious about the history of ideas or searching for a model of serious, patient reflection, this translation and commentary by S.C. Sayles could be worth your attention.